All access when I walk in the club, but only if I've been a guest listed. All access when I walk in the club, but only if I've been a guest listed. Walk in the club, walk in the club, walk in the club, walk in the club.
Let's switch that.
When I walk in the club, all access when I walk in the club.
Let's switch that. Let's switch that.
All access when I walk in the club, but only if I've been a guest listed. All access when I walk in the club, but only if I've been a guest listed. Walk in the club, walk in the club, walk in the club, walk in the club.
Let's switch that.
All access when I walk in the club. All access when I walk in the club.
Let's switch that. Let's switch that.
walk in the club.
Let's switch that. Let's switch that.
Hello, and welcome to the discussion part of the video. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the highlights. This video is basically a part one of a part two. The part two will either be out on Wednesday or Thursday. So yeah, but let's get straight into it. So starting off with our top goal scorer, it is Divock Origi for the first week. The first week, I genuinely really liked Origi. Origi is absolutely class. There's nothing wrong with this fella, and he is just an absolute beast. Being 86 rating as well is quite fucking mad, as he is just a monster. You just can't stop this fella. And with 37 goals, I can't say no to this guy. Like, this guy is a monster. He's one of my favorite players. And already, like, I'm surprised I've played 112 games with this guy and got 129 goals scored. Like, he is just amazing as a goal scorer. But second behind him was Messi, he with 28, and obviously Brolin with 23. And if I had to really say my MVP, like, most valuable player in this whole team, it would be Messi. Messi is just the best. This guy is just fantastic, and you can see by the amount of games I've used with this Messi, I just love his card. I love it. It's amazing. Every time I use him, he's fantastic. And with 28 goals and 21 assists, and with 10 man of the matches, you just can't say no to this fella. He is absolutely fantastic, and I just love using this guy. And out of the front three of them, if I'd have given like a 10 out of 10 rating, Messi for the first week was a 10 out of 10. He was brilliant. Origi, again, a 9 out of 10. And Brolin, a bit of a 7 out of 10. A bit of a surprise one. He did score 23 goals and get 13 assists, but I feel like he could have been a lot more better. And I think with like how small he is and how quick he is and stuff like that, I generally think, like, with 90 pace, it's just he hasn't got it. Like, he doesn't have 90 pace. He has like 80. Like, I generally at times have found Messi to be much more quicker than Brolin, and that's saying something. But other than that, like, I can't say wrong with the first week. The first week, these were really good. And there were goals that you can say, actually, you know what, that was pretty impressive by Brolin and Origi and stuff like that. Though I scored like overhead kicks, I've gone around goalkeepers and shit like that. So I was really happy with the result that this front three was attacking. And it was that impressive for the first week. I used it for the second week, and the second week was just as good. I just thought the gameplay in the second week was much more harsher and a lot more shitter. So yeah, I'll talk about that later. Midfield-wise, though, I love the midfield. The midfield was working like a unit. It was up there really well. And with Messi getting 21 assists, right, he was only close by one man, and that was Steven Gerrard with 20 assists. He did get 4 goals, which is not half bad, but 20 assists just goes to show how much I played with this team and how I kind of used certain areas and did certain things with the formation and stuff. Because Gerrard was really like the back, he was really just kind of let him sit back, let him have the freedom to like at least get a pass to like either Messi, Origi, or Brolin, like every time he was in this position, it was going to these three players, and he was like a calm playing centre mid. It was really, really, really good. I really liked him, and for the amount of games I played with him, he's done all right. To be fair, 140, 28, and 53 goals overall. But in the weekend, he did get 4 goals and 20 assists. So with alongside that, we do have Tony Kroos, who did get 4 goals and 10 assists. He was more of the box-to-box kind of midfielder who really can do the passing game. He was the hub of passing, really. Every time it was going up, he was always there. It was the same thing for Pereira, but I really wished that... I think it worked in the first week. I can't remember much fully, but when going back over the footage and everything, Pereira was sitting back a little bit more deeper and allowing Tony Kroos and Steven Gerrard to really play their game. And when looking at the recent week, it was a little bit. It was kind of the opposite, which I had found in the recordings and stuff. But overall, I really liked Tony Kroos, and he was just a good central hub passer. Every time it was going up, like he was always there for Brolin to pass it to Brolin or even Origi. And with 10 assists, it's not half bad. It's 10 less than Steven Gerrard, but 4 goals. He's got the same amount of goals as Gerrard. And I think the one thing that makes him a little bit more deadly is the fact he has what 5-star weak foot, which made him even more kind of like, you know what, he can take a pop here with his left foot, and he could. And I got to say, probably out of those 4 goals that he scored, probably all of them were outside the box. So it was good. It wasn't consistent. It was like a very much one-off thing. You could tell by the goals scored by the centre mids. But they were there. Like the goals being scored by Gerrard and Tony Kroos were still there. I just think like when playing against other people's goalkeepers, they were on it every time when it came to long shots. So a lot of the goals did come inside the box. No matter what, it was always inside the 6-yard box and whatever. Daniel Pereira, again, I've used this guy for so many times. Like this guy's been used 182 times. He's been my central defensive midfielder for a long, long time. And to be fair, he'd done pretty well in that first week. I was really, really happy with the way he like kind of just demanded everything. He was kind of just on the ball, on the box, and every time he was just always there. And with 2 goals, fair enough to him, and 3 assists, it's not half bad. But he was playing CDM, and he was staying back. Like no matter what, the guy stayed back, and he was and again with lengthy. That's the one thing about him as well. He is lengthy and all that stuff. He's just a tank. He runs rapidly, and he's always up for the headers and stuff like that. So definitely an honor, bonus on him. And if I had to rate this midfield, Steven Gerrard, 8 out of 10. Tony Kroos, 8 out of 10. Daniel Pereira, 8 out of 10. Solid. I'll probably, actually, to be fair, I could boost them all up by 1, but I think 8 out of 10 is being, like, right. I feel like 8 out of 10 is right. And then for our fullbacks, we got Theo Hernandez and Lucas Vazquez. Both of them, to be fair, did spread the play. They were really the outlets I was looking for to really play ball. A lot of the times I found that when going forward, they were always there to receive the ball playing backwards, play back to Steven Gerrard. Like the triangle that was made between Messi, Gerrard and Lucas Vazquez was probably the one thing that really got me a lot of assists with Gerrard, was that every time that Gerrard would play on the wing, or he's always up there, he would play to Lucas Vazquez, and Lucas Vazquez was always given the ball, like Gerrard was always in the right position to receive the ball back. So every time I would play it back to him and then pin that pass to likes of Messi and Origi and stuff like that. And it was the same thing for Theo Hernandez, but I feel like between the difference of them, Theo Hernandez is better defensively, while Lucas Vazquez is not. He is much more of a centre mid than he is a right back. That's the thing I realised about Lucas Vazquez when I was playing. He is actually a lot more of a centre mid player than he is an actual like fullback, which I didn't mind. It was nothing to be too fussed about. Like he did the job. That's the thing about him. He does the job and he does it really, really well. And even at times when, like, let's say halfway through the game, if I needed to like mess around with my midfield and I didn't have enough midfielders and I needed to like change my attack up or whatever, I would put Lucas Vazquez in centre mid. And that's how easy it was. I just put him centre mid and he would do the job. So I was really happy with that. And it was the same thing with Theo Hernandez. I didn't put him in centre mid, but he still did the job in left back. And he, again, fast, rapid, good defensively as well. I got to say, a lot of my goals that I conceded, as an overhaul, instead of the highlights you might have seen, Theo Hernandez defensively was sound. Like, there was a lot of times where he just did, like, he really did cover. And I think I might have Marquinhos on the wrong side. I think Marquinhos was on the right side. And yeah, I really did like these two as a pairing in fullbacks. Now we go to the centre backs. Now the centre backs was the most interesting bit because in the first week, sound, absolutely sound. Like I had no problems with the likes of the centre backs. Both of them put in a shift, and I mean a proper shift. Rudiger, in the first week, bloody hell, it was like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. He was almost a 10 out of 10. He was solid. And Marquinhos as well, I couldn't say more about him. He was like a 10 out of 10. This guy is an absolute monster. I recently packed him as well. I've also got his other card like sitting on my transfer list. But I generally did love these two as a centre-back pairing. And it got Donnarumma 8 clean sheets. The thing about this game is it's very difficult to keep a clean sheet. I've seen it so many times with teams on pro clubs, teams on Ultimate Team, where they aim for the clean sheet and it doesn't happen. Like the amount of times people have aimed for clean sheets and it just doesn't happen is unreal on this game. Straight away, the first thing I'd realise is like every time it's going to be a goal scoring game, and that's the main reason why I just went full out on the attack and not much on the defence. The defensive side that was still there, but all out on the attack with lots of Messi and Origi and stuff like that. Because when going forward, I did have 5 people going forward. Sometimes even 6, depending on which fullback would push and which fullback would stay back. And even at times, it would actually just have the fullbacks going up, and it would only be Rudiger, Marquinhos, and Daniel Pereira sitting back. Even Pereira as well in the midfield, he would be there, and it was only Marquinhos and Rudiger as a back two. There was a lot of it in the game. Like if you look over the highlights, there were probably moments where you see that it was a back two. And it just meant that I could overload with the whole team. Like the whole team was just an overload, and I really liked it. So I went with it in the second week, and we'll talk about the second week in the next video. Now with Donnarumma, again, quality can't go wrong. I really like Donnarumma, and I was using his normal card, and his normal card was sound. Didn't have any issues with it. I thought he was pretty decent. And if I had to rate all of these out of 10, Theo Hernandez, 8 out of 10. Lucas Vazquez, 9 out of 10. Marquinhos, 9 out of 10. Rudiger, 8 out of 10. And Donnarumma, 8 out of 10. There you go. Simple as that. And that was basically the starting 11. And I really liked the starting 11. The starting 11 for me was absolutely probably one of the main key points of this team. It just worked. And it worked really well. So going to the bench. Now, I did have a way of going around teams. I did switch the formation at times, and I switched the formation from a 4-3-3 to a 3-5, kind of like a 3-4-1-2. The reason I did this was to overload still, but also have another defender coming back while having 2 centre mids who were going to be box to box no matter what. I just want to overload the opposition and give something for the person to worry about. And even with like Lucas Vazquez playing right mid and Theo Hernandez playing left mid, it just meant I could spread out the play as well and basically just open up in the middle to allow Origi, Messi, and like Brolin the time and the space to just go in there and score goals. And the one thing I really was surprised about actually was that I didn't really need to swap out my striker. I do it quite often, really. I did it a lot on the second week that I swapped out my striker. And I think it's because I actually had another striker on my bench. But I did have a striker on my bench, though. It was just that in the first week, didn't really need it because I was already scoring the goals and getting ahead really quickly early on. And then sometimes when I was behind, I still could do it and get into the game really quickly with the likes of Origi. So I had an alright system going on, and I didn't really need to change Origi that much. With the bench though, bench was sound. Like I really did mix it up, and I was mixing it up all the time. I would put Riyad Mahrez in centre mid. That's how much I was mixing up the play. I'll put Riyad Mahrez in centre mid. I would put Salah at left wing. I would put Berg Rice left wing, right wing, whatever, and then maybe put Messi in the left or Messi in the middle, something like that. I was always mixing up the play and mixing up something to really get ahead in the game and trying something new. Even though I've done it 100 times before, it was something that I was going over and over and over a lot. There's one player I am missing actually, and that is Tonali. Tonali is not here. So yeah, mixing up the play, I did it a lot, and I was mixing up loads of little things, loads of little stuff to basically get ahead in the game, and it worked really, really well, having like loads of options. I put Tonali in CDM, I put Schweinsteiger left centre mid, I put Mahrez in right centre mid, or even at times I put Mahrez at left wing, Salah in striker. Salah was actually my other striker, but I didn't put him on as much, as I only scored 2 goals with Salah and got 2 assists. But overall, it was not half bad. I was mixing up the play. So with Mahrez, I got 3 goals in the first week with him. Salah, I got 2 goals and 2 assists. Sule, I got an assist with him. And Schweinsteiger, I got 2 assists. So the impacts that were being made in the first week weren't massive. They were kind of minor. But there were a few like Salah scored 2 winners, I think. He scored me 2 winners that got me ahead in the game. And that was probably it. Like, that was only major impact these players had, really. The impact was already made before I even made the subs. So it was kind of like bringing all these players on to keep the press going, keep the game going, and keep it so that I am actually pushing the person away from my defense while also attacking, maybe getting the extra goal or extra assist, whatever, and just getting somewhere. And that was basically it. Like, that was what I'd do. I'll put Tonali on for Daniel Pereira. I'll put Shaw on for Theo Hernandez, if Theo Hernandez was like low fitness. Sully at centre back or right back. Schweinsteiger for Tony Cruz. Mahrez for Gerard, Brolin, something like that. It was all kind of mixed mash, and it all worked. Like, a lot of people, when I was going through it, I was surprised how good Mahrez is in centre mid. He's actually not a bad centre mid because of all his attacking stats. It was mainly because he was 5-star skill moves and he's left-footed. Playing him right centre mid, where I had the freedom of putting the right centre mid up the pitch, was really that was really it. But he did put the work in, so I can't say no to that. So if I had to rate my bench out of 10, Riyad Mahrez probably a 6 out of 10. Berg Rice probably a 4 out of 10. He didn't really have much impact or have any impact at all. Salah, he did score 2 winning goals, probably a 6, 7 out of 10. Schweinsteiger, very much consistent in midfield. Like, I cannot say anything about this guy. He's a workhorse. I would put him probably an 8 out of 10. Just, fair enough, he didn't have massive influence over the attacking side, but the defensive side, sound. Tonali, same thing. Defensively, sound. I'd say pretty good at passing the ball, getting the ball wide, and getting the ball back in the middle. Probably say 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Sure, same thing. Just keeping up the team, keeping the fitness going. Probably like a 5. Sully, defensively, fucking brilliant. For a player like that as well, he can play right back, like centre back as well. 7, 8 out of 10, just quality. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed the highlights. Part 2 will be coming out soon, and yeah, see you next time. Peace.